Many people think that when you undergo vasectomy, your manhood is being taken away. Where I come from, and that's where many men come from the village. We go to school, but the village never leaves us. Because many of us have done biology, and we know, the question that people have been asking, number one has been that, is vasectomy and castration the same? These are men who can go online and Google, but they don't want. They know once you undergo vasectomy, you've been castrated. Until now, patele meenda fanya DNA to verify the child. Wewe ni kama wewe mtoto ni wa jirani. Yeah, so my name is Medgclay Salano in Ejay, and they're branding me as the vasectomy man, which is a title I'm not saying no to it. And this title came not because of vasectomy, but because of the pregnancy that came after vasectomy. That's actually what brought all this thing around, because it was something that is quite impossible to happen. When you imagine that you have undergone vasectomy and now your wife is pregnant. Actually, how it happened is that I underwent vasectomy 2022 in July. And I knew I'm now a safe guy. And there's no way I could make someone pregnant again. So what happened in July, in August, my wife was fine. She was on her periods. September, she was on her periods. October, she missed. But I could not want to ask that question because I knew it was impossible. I saw she didn't, you know, when you are in the house with your wife, you always know when she's on her periods or she has missed. So I didn't see her buying the pads in August, in October, same to November. So it's like all of us were reluctant, all of us were afraid of asking, because it's like you don't want her to think what you are thinking, neither does she want you to think what she's thinking. So all of us kept cool. We are assuming everything is fine. Also, before we got our firstborns, she was using 3 months injections. And now when we said we wanted children, she stopped using the injections until after like 8 months, she could not get pregnant. So we assumed it was the effect of the injections. So when we saw that it was December and she had not gone to her periods, our first thought was, nile dawa ulikuwa unatumia, maybe zina react na mwili yako, then hata kama uliacha kutumia, they are still maybe having effects in your body, and maybe you have not seen your period. It's normal. So pregnancy, it was not out of our topic, kabisa. And then she was doing exercise. She likes doing a lot of exercise after getting her baby. So there was this baby bump. So she kept doing and doing. And she was like, hii bump yangu haiishi. Na this time nimekaa sana because it takes short time inaonge ishatoka. So I told her, or maybe you could go and try and pregnancy test. She told her, no, we can't be pregnant. How can you be pregnant? Because so ulifanya vasectomy ama hukufanywa. When you were, I told you were there, you saw what happened. She was like, me, I was outside, but I don't know what happened in that room. I said, you've been seeing me nursing my scar for these few days. So we assumed, but we said, let's go and try. So that day we were going to clinic. We were taking the younger baby to clinic. The young one was now 11 months because she was born in January. So she was now almost 11 months now. So we said, let us just go ahead and try. During the clinic visit, she did pregnancy test and she was positive. Well, this was a mixed reaction because one, our fear was, my wife has been going through CS all her pregnancies. The first pregnancy where she had twins, it was through CS. Also the second pregnancy, which was the daughter, she also went through CS. And it was just that year in January, she had gone through the CS, and even her scar had not yet healed to begin again enlarging to accommodate another baby. So that was our first fear. Is it going to be safe having another surgery, 2 surgeries in a row, consecutive years? So he said it can't be pregnancy. Okay, it's wrong. We went and we bought another kit, did at home, again positive, again did another one positive. So he said, now here we are. What do we do? Let us look for the guy who did vasectomy. This guy must have messed us. So we went and we were like, tukakutana daktari, we asked him, what happened? Akasema, no. Did you follow the instruction? Because it was clear that you are supposed to do the sperm count before engaging in sex without protection, because there are high chances of still making a lady pregnant despite undergoing a vasectomy. So we were like, no. We thought tulishafunga hizo vitu, there's no way it could pass. But he said up to 3 months you can still be active, because there are still sperms in the tube that are still meandering around that can still make a woman pregnant. So that's what had happened. So he told us, maybe if you're not comfortable, you can carry an abortion. We said, no, our issue is not the baby. Our issue is, she just said a surgery this year. Again, another surgery? He told us, no, there's nothing wrong with that. We said, imagine, so we were telling him, doctor, imagine three CS happening, and 2 are consecutive years. He said, no, it's still very fine. It can still happen. We told him, but we always told that a CS should not be more than 3 because a woman can die. He told us, I have done up to 6 years on one woman, personally. 6 times. And the woman is still very, very alive and very healthy. And the highest number we've done on a CS that has been done in history is 12 on one woman. 12 CS have been done on one woman. So 3 is nothing. And be assured that she's going to be very safe. Yeah, when this story came out, everybody was always like, umechezwa, fanya DNA. Until now, telling me, fanya DNA to verify the child. Wewe ni kama wewe mtoto ni wa jirani, ama wewe daktari alifanya nini, ungeambia bibi yako kwamba before end vasectomy is only successful if your wife is aware. Okay, my wife was aware, because before we did this procedure, it was not a secret. Tulikaa chini tukadiscuss. Why I did this, because she was going through hell when she was using the family planning methods. She could just find herself increasing weight so much. Sometimes she'll just lose appetite. She'll have too much appetite. She'll have migraines, constant headaches. She'll be having bleeding that was too much, excessive. She'll just have a lot of complications. So we were in this journey together. So I will tell her, let us try this method. Let us try this method. Can you try the coil? Can you try the implant? Can you try the 3-month injection? Can you try the pills? So none of them was fitting her. Until now we said, which one can we do? I was like any other man who says that now gani unaweza tumia. So I was never in that equation. So it's like, sasa kama imekata sasa tufanyaje? So jaribu ingine tena. Maybe you ingine yuko po. Can we try again? So it was always about her. You try again another one. You try this one again. You try this one again. But I'm always, also in my marriage, I'm always, first I take a step back and ask, okay, what about me? Even if you find maybe your wife has a habit that you don't like in the house, unasema wewe unapenda kufanya. May also go back and ask, what about it? Maybe it's me who is causing her to do this. So I step back and said, okay, if she's done, she has tried, almost all options are exhausted. How can I help her? So I said, do we have family planning for male? So we went on internet and we saw that there's an injection that is in trial. Not in trial actually, it has also been launched. So we said, well, let's go for this. But again, reading the journal, it was not in Kenya. It is somewhere in US and imeanza kuwa launched. Not, we don't know it will be in Africa. So we knocked it out. So we said vasectomy. I said, yeah, vasectomy, no. I can't do that. I'm a man, and I'm a man from Western Kenya. And that's the fear that I've seen, that the fear that I had, and it's the fear that almost 99% of men are having, who are saying they cannot do vasectomy. Number one, what defines a man is the man's manhood. That's what defines you. Because not just having it, but having it functioning. That's what makes you a man. If you are able to erect and perform, that is number one. Then number two, it's able to fertilize a woman. Because there are those also who are, we have those who cannot erect. Therefore, they feel like they're same like men, they're women. So it's like okay, if you left them with a woman, they feel there are two women in the house. Then we have other men who are erect, they function so well, but they can't fertilize, they can't make a woman pregnant. They also feel lesser men. They feel like if I only could make a woman pregnant, if only I could father a child. And it's a fear that many men have, especially those who are having that issue. Maybe they were born with, or it was acquired from something else. So these men always feel lesser men. Even when they're men seated and they're discussing issues, they don't feel like they should contribute anything because I'm not a man enough. I can't father a child. And I think it's a very bad thing to define a man by the ability to sire a child, because there are other things that can make you a man. And we have also seen people who have children and those children are hell. There are issues. And also, we always tell people that a marriage is not complete because of children. A marriage is complete because of man and a wife. That's what marriage is. And the two became one. It's not, there was no child in the equation. And children are not part of marriage. Children are not part of marriage. Children are just a product of marriage. Also, we say that children are just visitors who overstayed their welcome in the marriage. They leave you one day. So just as you began life, the two of you, you will also end the two of you. It reach a point, all your kids will go away, you will remain the two of you. So don't feel that your marriage is incomplete because you don't have a child. A child is just a spice in a marriage. We can eat food without spices. We'll still eat the food. When the spices are there, well and good, we also enjoy them. So number 3 is now when you are able to father a child and that ability to father is taken away. And not just taken away so that you cannot father, but we imagine what is being taken away is the ability to erect and even just maybe have sex normally. So that is what kills men. We say maybe if I was born not performing, I can manage it. But imagine me performing all along, then I'm still young. I'm not an old man, because we have history of men who are in their 80s, 90s still performing. And imagine I'm only in my 30s and I'm going not to be functioning. How will I live the rest of my life? So will I be calling someone to help my wife? So it's like she's like just going to be a widow, something like that. I'm there, but I'm not there. So that was the fear, and that's the fear that most men have. They think that the moment you have undergone vasectomy, you lose your ability to function as a normal man. You lose your ability to erect. And that's what is hitting most men. Even if you tell them about family planning methods for men like vasectomy, they say, no, I don't want to be a lesser man. And I've seen on most comments, and even people are reaching out that when I'm you are now a woman nowadays, what are you telling us? You can't advise us. And I think it's just that we lack information. Ignorance is so much than the information we have, and people are speaking from a point of ignorance. They don't know what they are saying. And so when this idea of going for vasectomy came, those are the fears I had. So before I made up my mind, I did a lot of consultations. Went from one doctor to another, until I met one of the doctors who said, I did my vasectomy like 13 years ago. And I'm in a very ripe marriage functioning. By the way, I function because this is a time you function without stress. Not imagine that, ama kunaweza kuwa na nini sijui ni withdraw. You have no any other. You do it. If you used to do it 8%, because you see, if you are having sex with a CD, you are having, kuna vile inaweza pasuka in the process. If you are doing withdrawals, we have withdrawal babies. If your wife is doing coil, we have babies who are born with the coils in their hands. I don't know if it's true. If we are having women who are doing implants, my wife got pregnant with an implant. Instead of 5 years to 3 years, the girl we have here. So we have had those history of poor failing. And even in my inbox, I've had women saying that their methods failed. So what I'm trying to say is that we had to consult to know that there was nothing wrong with this method. And then we went with my wife. Okay? So after doing this procedure with my wife, all of us were aware. So these people saying that always inform your wife before you do vasectomy. My wife was aware. And it would be the most stupid idea that I've just underwent vasectomy in July, and then she's getting pregnant for another man the same few months after that. Hata ingekuwa 5 years tungesema maybe mzee after vasectomy alifail kufunction akaenda kufanya. And then another thing about our marriage is that we've been married for the last 13 years, and my wife has never given me a reason to doubt her. And neither have I ever given her a reason to doubt me. So we are, our marriage is founded on Christ, and our marriage is founded on trust and faithfulness and love, so, and honesty. So when she said she was pregnant, I never thought about her being unfaithful in any way. I never. And even if you could, the whole world could come and tell me it's not my pregnancy, they saw with someone, I will not believe. Not because I'm stupid, because I know her. We've worked together for a very long time. I know the things she can do and things she cannot do. So that one was out of question. And Impa asking me to go for DNA test. I cannot go for DNA test because I know my wife so well. And I know there's no one who knows her better than me. Not even her parents. Not even her brothers or sisters. I know her in out. Also, no one knows me better than my wife. Not my brothers, not my parents. So that issue of mistrust or the pregnancy of somebody else, it was out of question. Maybe let us say this. If I underwent vasectomy last year, 2022, and then I was with my wife for maybe like 5 years, and then she gets pregnant, the first thing will come in mind was, this is not my child. Because if I've been having sex with her for all these years, and she did not get pregnant, then now she's now pregnant, then I'll have questions. I'll have, even if I trust, I'll begin saying, now my wife, no, isi yangu. Hata kama atakuja kama nifanana, I'll say, I'll have doubts. And if you tend to go for a DNA test, I'll run and go and do it. Because yes, we did vasectomy 5 years ago. We've been having unprotected sex all these years. How comes now you are now pregnant? That will raise issues. But at that point, doing vasectomy in July, her being pregnant, that means because when we did the pregnant test in December, she was already 3 months pregnant. Meaning, she got pregnant in September. So, if I did vasectomy in July, then August she was already sleeping around, and September she was sleeping around. Even though she was the dumbest girl on this earth, she could not do that. So I have had a lot of responses from both men and women in my inbox. And most women are receiving this thing with a lot of positivity because, one, we have taken our wives as dumping sites for these chemicals, for this the so-called family planning methods. And there are women who began using this family planning method when they were still in high school, when they were still teenagers. They get in marriage, they continue using them. Then they keep using until they reach maybe menopause. We are having so many high cases of fibroids. We are having so many cases of cervical cancer. We are having so many cases of breast cancer. Why are they so rampant? I am not saying the family planning is the cause, but if you have anything that you are taking and it's causing side effects, then why are you taking it? It's actually having an issue in your life, because if I take any drug that is supposed to help me, but at the end of the day, I end up having migraines throughout my life, having headaches throughout, then that's a side effect. It's not just doing good to my body. If I'll take anything in my body that should help me, and then instead of having your periods once in a month for 4 days, you end up having your periods like 3 times in a month for 7 days or 6 days, and the flow is so heavy and too much, then you can't say this thing is helping you. If I can be having a family planning method, I'm using it, and then I just lose interest in sex completely, my libido goes away completely, and your husband still expects you to perform normally. The same husbands who says he cannot go for vasectomy wants to perform normally. And then you say it is safe, yet you are unable to perform. It has already interfered with your libido. It's not safe. And then you are using another method whereby you are just adding weight. You are trying to reduce on your diet, but you keep on adding weight. Your face is tanning, your cheeks are enlarging, you are having pimples all over your face, you just feel you are not the same person again. But you know why women are doing this all? Sacrificing for the sake of their marriages. That's what I'm saying. Most women have taken up the role to sacrifice. They'll even decide to add weight to save marriages. But at the end of the day, the same man will leave for a slimmer lady. You find that women sacrifice, they take care of these children, they go and use the method around even favoring them. They are endangering their lives with a lot of side effects that's going to destroy them to save this marriage. But what do men do? Do they appreciate that? They don't. What side effect does vasectomy have? None. During vasectomy, nothing is injected in your body. There are no chemicals put in your body. A very simple procedure that leaves you the way you are, just like going for a nail cut. They cut your nails, then you go back home. Nothing has been put in you, only something has been removed from you. So these methods for women is always about putting things in women's systems, A lady reached out to me yesterday. These are some that I can even show you a message. She told me, I have not been sleeping with my husband for the last 3 years on the same bed. Reason? Because we will have sex. What will happen if you have sex? I'll get pregnant. What if I get pregnant? I already have 6 children now. Right now, there is no method that is favoring me. That she says she has been having extreme side effects from any family methods. I talked to her for a long time, showing that I've used daily pills, worst. I've done 5 years implant, worst. I was told try 10 years, worst. I did three months injections, worst of all. I tried the coil, it was in fact there was. So she says that she has tried all. Now, family planning is not now affecting the man and the wife. It's now affecting the entire family. This now family is going to break because of just a simple thing. Why am I saying it's family? Because now we are having children in the equation. This is a woman who is married. She has 6 children in that house. The husband is not having sex with her. Not that because she doesn't want, because she's fearing. There is no another way out. What is this man doing? He'll be looking for another alternative. He's not a wise man. He's looking for another wife who can satisfy him. Because the nature of man is selfishness. And men, we've become so much selfish that we just want to see what can I have for myself. How can I satisfy my desires? But don't look at her. Now, what's the end of this marriage? What's going to be the ultimate end of this marriage? The marriage will almost break. Who is going to be affected? Children, they're going to be left without a family. The woman's going to live desperate. Something that could be solved in a very simple way. If this man, with this wife, they already have 6 children, and they have agreed this is the number of children we have, what is so hard for this man to undergo vasectomy, a procedure that will only take like 25 minutes, leave him losing nothing, and even don't go in public like me, go home and continue performing, bring your wife back to your bed, and live happily. You've solved so many issues. You've solved so many traumas. We were discussing very many traumas that come from children who are brought up without parents, me being one of them. So you find that kids come from where there was no family, parents being together. If you go in this house, there is no that, kids thrive in the environment where there is love. Now, you can't tell me, despite these two being in different bedrooms, at wanaonganga tu vizuri wanachakachaka kwa nyumba, the kids love, there is no love, there is no communication. Already we have communication breakdown in that house. The marriage is almost going to rocks. Reason is family planning method. And when you talk about family planning methods, family, what is family? When you talk about we've made a family with my wife, is both of us coming together. Family is me and my wife. Family is not me. When I'm alone, I'm no longer family. When my wife is alone, she's no longer family. Family is when the two of us come together. So when we talk about family planning, we are planning as a family, as a couple, 2 of us. So we must first agree, the 2 of us, what can we do to help both of us? But now, if family planning has become women's planning or wives' planning, it's no longer family. It has now become wives' planning, or it has become women's planning. So husbands have withdrawn themselves from that, and they call themselves part of the family. We are being selfish. And I also think that it's always very good for couples to discuss the number of children they want, even before they begin having children. The moment you get in marriage, I think if you're one of the subjects, if God will bless us with children, how many will you wish me to have? Or how many children do you wish us to have? And you'll have your reasons. One will tell you I only want 1. And the husband will say, the wife will say I only want 1. The man says I want 10. Then you may say, hey, 10 is too much for me. And you say, hey, 1 is too little. So okay, mnaanza kubageni kama uko sokoni, si ndio? Wewe umesema 10, mimi nimesema 1, okay, let us do 3. No 3, no, let us do 8. 8, no, let us do 6. No. 6 is too much, let us do 5. Until you now reach a point where you now agree. Okay, let us do this. Let us have 5. Okay? At least I want 3 boys and 2 girls. And these 3 boys, I want to name my father, my grandfather, and me. Then 2 girls, my mother. This is how those people always come with their conversation. And they always have their reasons. And mostly find that those people who want many children maybe came from a family where there were very few. So maybe you find that mostly someone who was born alone will want to have more children because he's feeling that sense of maybe I didn't have a brother, I didn't have a sister. Or you are born where you're only the only son and others were girls. You want to have more sons to feel like you have small brothers around you. Or you are born with so many boys and you're the only girl. You'll want to have some sisters around you. So it's always psychological how someone brought up. So like for us, I came from a very big family. My mother had so many children and many of them were twins. Twins were coming double. It's like, if I can count the number of twins she had was 6 times. So 12 kids were twins, though they were not surviving. They were not surviving. Either it was, we only have maybe 1 surviving, the other one dying, or both dying. So she had so many children, and those who were born one, there were also so many. So we were like, so where we grew in our home, it was always fighting for resources. Going to school was an issue. So I will see if my brothers who are ahead of me and sisters who are ahead of me, for them to go to school and pay fees, because my father was always absent. So my mother will always tell my brothers and sisters, this week there's not going to school, tunaenda vibarua. They go and palilia mashamba za watu, wanasema tunatake quarter, wewe utachukua quarter, mimi quarter, tupalilie. Then when they're paid, wanalipia mtu mmoja fee hivyo. That's how I saw my mother struggling to pay school fees for our brothers and sisters. And they did not go very far. Some dropped in class 5, some in class 4, some they did not go far. Reason is, okay, from my interpretation is that it's because we were many. Food coming in the kitchen, there was even time for praying, because the minute you say amen, there will be nothing on the table. And I will always say, if you are just 2 of us or 3 of us, we'll be eating so well, because not that we didn't have land, we had a lot of land, but that land, well, they will end up leasing almost all of it to cater for other things. So we have land and we can't even manage it, because like having, let's say even if you have been given even 3 acres of land and that land needs to be tilled. You need finances to till it. You need seeds to plant it, which are not there. So you'll find that we will have to lease part of the land to use money to plant the other one. And when we have the harvest, we sell it. Tunauza mahindi ndio tupate maybe uniform, tuuza mahindi tupate maybe nguo, ama tupate school fees. So it was so hard for us until I saw my parents separating when I was only 10. And we went to streets. The lad that I was always saying that these things are happening because we were so many. If my father had 3 children, we will not be having hard issues managing them. We'll live a better life. Because I've seen parents in the village who don't have jobs, they're just peasant farmers, and they've educated their children. Because the number of children they had, they were able to manage. So I always wished to have 2 children. My wife came from a family where there were 7 of them. And out of these 7, she was the firstborn. And she could see 6 children behind her. And she would always say, mbona uliza watu wengi sana? Because she's her and her immediate brother, who is less than 2 years younger than her. So she was saying, if only we were just the 2 of us, we would have had the best life. We will have gone to best schools. We will have had best life on this earth. But now see how we are. You ask your dad for something, tells you, you know your sister is also going to school. You see your brother was sent away from school. You see this. So it was hectic. So for us, it was very easy to get a consensus of the number of children we wanted. So I said, I want just 2. She said, also just want 2. We get a boy and a girl. Then we stop there. So we agreed. We have a firstborn who is a boy, secondborn who is a girl. Even I can remember when she was now pregnant for our firstborn, we placed a bet. And me, I wanted a girl. I told her I want a girl. The one I will be plaiting her hair, I will take her to salon, I will make sure she has earrings. I just want to have a girl. And she was saying, no, it's a boy. So no, she's a girl. No, it's a boy. Hata leo nimeota nilikuwa msichana. No. In fact, there's a day my sister dreamed that my wife had given birth to a boy. I almost slept. I told her go back and sleep and dream well. So we were akizaliwa a boy, then I'll give her 5K. Akizaliwa a girl, she'll give me 5K. That was the agreement. And boom, when the babies came, they were twins, a boy and a girl. And we told God, thank you, because this is what we always wanted. Let us have these 2 kids and raise them. Now we said, what do we do to not to have any other child now? Family planning. As any other man, enda angalia gani itazaa na wewe. Wewe enda angalia ambayo itakufaa, uanze kufanya hasa ni hivyo tu throughout. So she will go for 3 months injection. It will be miserable on her. Because you see, as men, we are now saying, we'll now be having sex without any fear. Ukisha have your family planning. But now, this woman whom you want to have sex with her, bila stress, you can no longer have that sex because her libido is no longer there. She's bleeding always. Kila siku kitaka kuenda kunapata ako na pad. So that life you are thinking you're going to have is no longer there. You want to have sex with her, she's struggling with the weight. Not that weight that's coming from diet. You see her even missing breakfast, missing lunch just to put her weight down, but nothing's happening. She's trying another method. She's having a lot of headache, always kichwa inauma, siwezi lala. You can't have sex with someone who is not in that her right mental and health status. So everything has been interfered with. We solve one problem to bring another. So now, even before that, we said, okay, the method that was somehow very favorable with her, that was not very extreme, was the 5-year implant. So when she used it, at least the only issue she had was maybe bleeding that was excessive, but she could somehow, also her libido was somehow low, but we could manage. So as a lawyer, managed to lower my standard of having sex frequently, because for us it's always like food in Western. So we had to reduce that iyo hamu to go with her leg. Now the implant is 3 years old, our twins are 6 years old. She gets pregnant before the expiry of the implant. Now we are here, where? Sasa mimi nasemanga, I either need 2 kids or 4. I always want an even number. Now, we did not plan for this, she's here. So what do we do? So she got pregnant last year, January. She had a baby in January. Now we said, this method is not working. Despite it having, and I have seen so many women who have come in my inbox saying that their planning methods backfired. So there was this couple where the husband went for vasectomy, the wife got pregnant. So what happened? She was sent away. She has been unfaithful. The wife vowed and said, this is your child, I've never gone. The husband refused. When our story came out, that was the healing story of that marriage. The wife came to my wife's inbox and said, you have healed my marriage by your story. Because it was so hard for my husband to believe that he's the one who made me pregnant. So you have healed us. My husband came back after seeing your story. We've gone for DNA test. The child is his. So you have seen that kumbe kuna uwezekano. So what happened is that, not that vasectomy failed, neither did mine fail, is that once I feel that I've undergone vasectomy, I feel I am now immune to making anyone pregnant. So you feel that you are now free. Kumbe bado, there is a limit that you are given. You are told 3 months to be safe. You need like 3 months to be safe. Or you need like regular 20 ejaculations. So, and before you engage in unprotected sex, go for sperm count, which we ignore. Nasema sperm count nene uleshakata hizo vitu. So hakuna. So we imagine that we are very safe. So when this couple went back to check, they discovered that the child is theirs. It's just that, yes, the man has 0 sperm count, but now, during that time when they had sex, there were some sperms that made the woman pregnant. So this, our story, has been a healing to other couples who are in the same situation like us, and it has also brought understanding to many people. So I can say that many women have reached out to us, saying that the family methods, they are always backfiring. It's normal for them to backfire. Even now, some speaking, the one will come and say, yes, not 1, not 2, not 10. Many have said yangu ya 5 years will backfire. Many are saying I was using coil, ika backfire. Many are saying I got pregnant. How many are even having P2 children? They are having coil children. So these things are happening and they are man-made. They keep on failing. So the only sure bet that will not come with the inside effects. And by the way, you will see my wife here. She's not using any. You will see she's in shape. And she's young. She doesn't look like a mother of 4. And she's growing younger every day because there is nothing she's using in her system that can hinder her well-being. She's now a relaxed woman. She's now a woman at peace. I'm a man at peace. A man who is now relaxed. Some are saying I'm a lesser man, but it's only me who can say if I'm lesser or not, or my wife who can prove that. So many people are mistaking, as I was saying earlier, that many people think that when you undergo vasectomy, your manhood is being taken away. So you always imagine, how will I live without my manhood? How will I live 2 women in the same house? Because that's what people think. In where I come from, and that's where many men come from the village. We go to school, but the village never leaves us. Because many of us have done biology, and we know, the question that people have been asking, number one, has been that, is vasectomy and castration the same? These are men who can go online and Google, but they don't want. They want to comment with what they know. They know once you undergo vasectomy, you've been castrated. And we saw it. Those who did agriculture, those who are in the villages, we used to castrate our dogs in the village. How was it being done? We simply take the dogs, take the scrotums, cut it, take out the balls, and sew it back. That was castration. What was the effect of castration? A dog can no longer erect. It can no longer go around. Because we were trying, in our home, we were trying to rear dogs where they can be in a home and protect the home. But now you will find that dogs are not sleeping at home. Dogs are going to look where there are other dogs, female dogs, to mate with them. So mkifungua mbwa usiku, you will find that ng'ombe zimeibiwa, mbwa haku back. Vitu zimeibiwa compound, mbwa haku back. Reason, mbwa hakukuwa, where was he? Ameenda kutafuta wanawake huko nje. So how will you tame this dog? We castrate it. It loses interest in other female dogs. It becomes infertile, impotent, cannot function. Now, we take this dog and put it home until now settle down. Because it cannot function, it becomes like just any other female dog. So this dog will become very healthy and now become very fierce and protect the home, now play its role. We are doing the same to bulls. Where I come from in Kakamega, we have bullfighting activities where people take bulls to go and fight. A bull that has been castrated, it looks very healthy and very strong. It doesn't have anything to do with female cows, with cows. So it's always focused on its agenda. To eat well, get strong, and go and fight. So it cannot erect, it cannot further. So most men from this village mentality, they feel when you undergo vasectomy, they're going to do the same thing to you. They'll take away your balls and then make you infertile, dysfunctional, you cannot erect, and then you become a lesser man, which is a very false notion. If you can't believe me, we are in the age whereby everything is in the display. Go and Google, go to YouTube, check process of castration, check vasectomy. Those are two different things. During vasectomy, your testes are not touched in any way. So, what this procedure does, also people are asking about, do you ejaculate or do you stop? Are your balls too big because now there's accumulation of things that are supposed to get out or getting out? But I've said this and I'll say it again. Sperms are cells. And as we learned in biology, you cannot see a cell with your naked eye. And a cell is the smallest part of the organ, the smallest. For you to see a cell, you need a microscope. And it's the sperm cell that fertilizes the egg in the woman. And no man has ever seen his sperms. So people always say that when they create nimetoa sperms mingi, those are not sperms. You can't see sperms. Because when you say in a single ejaculation, there are millions of sperms. So ananga, hii zangu ni kama milioni moja kwa sababu zimekuwa mingi leo ama ni milioni 10. Whatever you see coming out, those are not sperms. those are semens. And semens, they provide an environment or medium for transport of sperms. So whatever you see with your eyes, they are semens that come out during ejaculation. Semens come out carrying sperms. And most men who are impotent or who have zero sperm count, they produce semen in large quantities, but with no sperm cells in it. So when you see that a man cannot father a child, it doesn't mean that this man has he does not ejaculate. He ejaculates normally. In fact, he can ejaculate more than you, but the difference is his semen does not have sperm cells when observed under a microscope. So we have two tubes that come from your testes, one that transports semens, one that transports sperm cells. So during vasectomy, it's the tube that transports sperm cells that is disconnected. Not actually disconnected, but just a miscommunication is made between it. So they take a tube, they tie left, they tie right, then they cut in between. So this part is sterilized, the other part is also sterilized. So there is a gap. So there's no way a sperm cell can move from this side to this side. They do the same on the left side of the testicle and on the right side of the testicle. You can check that online how it's done. And then the tube that passes the semen is left intact. So yes, I ejaculate normally. Nothing changed. So this is the information that I was given before I did this procedure. These are the questions that I asked before I did the procedure. And it's very good to seek information and seek knowledge before you made step. And I don't blame those men who are having these questions or these conclusions about me. I don't, because I was also there. It's just that they have not taken time to study what is happening. And if they'll take their time to go and find out how this thing is done, they'll find that this is a very safe method, and it's the only method that will not have any side effect either to you or to your wife. And also, don't go and do vasectomy until you have reached the age that you think, I am making this decision because this process that I'm going to do, it's irreversible. That's number one. Number two is that I am old enough to make a decision that I won't regret again. The other thing that is really destroying us, that we are living in fear. That's number one. We are always living in fear. Fear of tomorrow. Fear of my marriage. Fear of my children. You have children, but you are saying one day they may die, all of them. Ntaanzia wapi? You are like, one day my wife will leave me, ntaanzia wapi? So people are having those fears, and I can't blame them. Because even nowadays, most people, when they get into marriage 50-50. And I get I'm just going to try. It's work, I'll go away. Even women wanasema mimi naenda kwa ndoa, akianza kunitesa naenda, because sikufukuzwa kwetu, number one. I can still go and do my own thing and be an independent woman. I can be a single mother. So people have come up with the options of living. So a man is trying to imagine, if I undergo vasectomy today, then my wife leaves me tomorrow. Nitafanya aje? So these are the fear that we are having. So I'm not telling any man to undergo vasectomy. You have to be sure of who you are. For me, I said we have created our marriage on a strong Christian foundation, that our marriage is no longer dependent on me or on my wife, but on God. And we have gone through obstacles that we now believe that kama tukuachana hiyo wakati, there is nothing. We've gone through marriage season with my wife, very tough seasons that if you begin sharing here, it will be another story, that could have broken us. I have even tried suicide so many times because of my marriage, and healed from that. So we have gone through season that will have broken us. So when you reach this conclusion, and I'm also a man of faith, I know God has blessed me with 4 children, and these children have a very great future, all of them. And I've had visions several times, even when they were just 2, of me dead, very old, with the 4 kids surrounding my grave. So I used to know maybe I'll adopt 2 children. That was always thing I used to see. I used to see that maybe I'll maybe adopt 2 because I only want to have 2 children. So I knew one day I'll adopt 2 so that the 4 I always see, there'll be 4 children. So I'm a man who trusts that God has given me 4 children who will not die but live. So I have no fear of losing my children in life. I have no fear of losing my marriage. I can say that after undergoing vasectomy, our marriage became stronger. because number one, my wife understood that I did this thing out of love, and it was a sacrifice. And I was also just paying back because she had sacrificed so many years also in doing the same for me. Suffering nights without sleep because of the pains, headaches, bleeding throughout, which is very uncomfortable, going through series of weight loss, weight gain, whatever, but they're not working, going through a lot of side effects and complications. She was sacrificing all those for me. So in turn, I was just giving it back to her. And when I did not react as people wanted me to react, she felt I love her even more. And I can say actually, from all this story of vasectomy, our marriage became more stronger. And we have always learned in our marriage not to be judgmental. First of all, step back and ask yourself, why has this happened? Before we jump into rough conclusions. So she wasn't actually expecting me to overreact, because if she could be having some history of maybe cheating on me or of unfaithfulness in our marriage, like our marriage is very open book to both of us. So my wife can access my phone anytime, anywhere she wants. I give her my phone, go and do shopping, pay through Mpesa. I take her phone, I use it anywhere. So we've been that open. There's times she can be chatting with people on Facebook, thinking they're chatting with me, on our reply. So we've been that. So we laugh such things off. The ladies, even she replies on a chat now, they think they're chatting with me. Then we laugh it off. So we've been so open to one another, because we discovered that when someone can confidently stand before you naked, then there's nothing else that should be secret. Secrets in marriages are cancers, like cancer cells that eat you. With the time, it will just kill you before you know it. Because we have married that are marriage that are surviving because of phone passwords. I call them password marriages. And I've even seen these things being amplified on pulpits in churches by religious leaders during weddings. When I'm being msichana, if you want your marriage to stand, keep off your husband's phone. And you man, if you want your marriage to stand, keep off your wife's phone. If you see your husband's phone ringing, run away. So I'm like, what is this advice coming from? Is this advice from heaven, hell, or from heaven? Because if God says that we should be one, what does oneness mean? Oneness means I'm in you, you are in me. We are intertwined. We can be naked before each other, so that our phone has become more private than our private parts. So for us, we have opened ourselves, and we have allowed each other. And I always say, for a marriage to be very progressive, allow someone to be in your life. So that isifike wakati ambapo you've been in a very good marriage, very happy, until one day you'll be able to access your husband's password, then the marriage, that will be the end of your marriage. The day you will know your wife's password, that's the day, that will be the end of your marriage, because there are things that she's hiding that should not be seen. And the clergies are giving approval to this. They're saying that, yes, let those secrets remain. You better have secrets, but your marriage work. Then that's living in pretense, which should not be the case. So we have been open to one another, such that when this news came, to me, I could never think about it, and she could not even think of me thinking about that. Okay? So that's how open we are. And also, I would want to get shout-outs to men who have undergone vasectomy. They flood my inbox. Bro, unatuongelelea. We are here. A lady reached out to me and told me, by them, you are my husband, because my husband also did vasectomy. And when we look at you, we feel so good. So keep going. So I know, as people are saying that, yeah, siwezi fanya, there are so many men who have done vasectomy, but chini ya maji, na wako tu. So to you, there are still men. Until you know they've undergone vasectomy, he's no longer a man. So manhood, or the strength of a man, is not in his physical. It's who you are, the inner you. So I do not owe an explanation to any man for undergoing a vasectomy. I'm protecting my marriage. I'm protecting my family. I want my family to be happy, to be peaceful. I don't want to have a wife who is under stress 24/7. I don't want to have a wife who is frustrated in my marriage. So if there's a way I can help her, I'm helping her. So I'm not owing any man an explanation why underwent vasectomy. Hiyo ni mali yako, cheza na vile unataka. Family is a very sensitive and essential thing in this world. If a family breaks, a society breaks. A society breaks, a nation breaks. If a nation breaks, we don't have a world. So family should be held with a lot of respect and a lot of seriousness. When it comes to marriages, we have put all our energy in our marriage than any other part of our lives, than our jobs, than our careers, than our visions and missions. We have put our energy in our marriage than any other part of our lives. We have turned down jobs that will look like they want to come between our marriage. We have turned down deals that will look like they want to come between our marriages. Because we have put our marriage ahead of us. Because we learned that this marriage is bigger than us. This marriage is bigger than even our ambitions. This marriage is not our idea. Marriage is God's idea. So whoever came up with this idea of marriage, he knows what it is in. And if marriages are able to heal, then we are healing our society, we are healing our nation, we are healing the whole world. So I'll tell any man who is out there and you love your family and you'll want to have a very happy marriage. And I can say my marriage turned around after this process because we've become more close, we've become more friends, because now it's like I've shown her my vulnerability and I've also seen her vulnerability. So we are into each other. My weakness has become her strength and same to her weakness has become my strength. So we complement so much. And I will tell any man that when we talk about family planning, let it be a subject of both of us discussing it, both men and women. Let us not leave it for women alone.